Hey everyone, welcome back. And this video is going to be something a little bit different. I kind of got inspired to do this after watching Jim's Nerd Nation, okay, which, if you're not familiar with him, I definitely recommend Jim's Nerd Nation's videos. You make sure they're good videos. He basically does a thing where he goes to a fairly popular manga that he has never read before. You might know little minor things about it, but for the most part it's completely 100% blind. And he reads it from the beginning and does chapter reviews of it from the beginning all the way through. Currently he's doing it for Naruto and One Piece, and I'm pretty sure some others. But I decided to do it for One Piece because out of the big three, One Piece is the one that I've never actually read. Like, seriously. My only experience with One Piece was the shitty ported dub from years ago, and I've been told, and for years I put it off because of that, but I decided to check out the manga because it's not a very good way to get into it, obviously, unless you're a kid. Even most kids, I don't think, would get into it that well. But anyways, though, so this is my Chapter 1 review of One Piece, which is the beginning of the Romance Dawn arc. And what I have to say is that the art isn't that good. I kind of have to say that first. The art really isn't that good at all. And from pictures I've seen later on in the manga, I think it's actually going to get worse. So the art's definitely not something I'm looking forward to. It's pretty well shit, but I did enjoy the chapter to a certain extent. Now, there's not really much you can say because it is just the first chapter of the entire manga of, I think, like almost 800 fucking chapters. There's a lot of this manga. Alright, so I'm actually going to check and see here real quick exactly how many chapters that there are so far. 748 chapters. This week should be 749. So yeah, not quite 800. It'll be a while before it gets to 800, but it's well over 700 though, definitely. Almost 750. So yeah, it's going to, so obviously because of that, it's going to take me a while to actually get through it, but I'm definitely interested in doing this project. One Piece isn't the only series I'm going to be doing it for. I do plan on doing it for a few others as well, which you'll see later on my channel. Anyways, this is the first chapter of the Romance Dawn arc, and I already commented on the art. So let's get to what actually happened in this arc. We're introduced to the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, I probably would have pronounced his name Luffy if it wasn't for the fact that I already know, because I've heard, and I've heard that his name's Luffy. And actually, one of the few things I actually got right in the 4Kids dub was pronouncing his name Luffy. Okay, so I know that his name is Luffy, not Luffy, even though that is a common misconception. And he's a little kid. I'm not exactly sure how old he's supposed to be, but he is really little. I'm guessing he's younger than a preteen. And his dream is to become the world's greatest pirate. And before we actually get introduced to him, we actually meet, or actually get the past of a supposedly the greatest pirate in the world named Gold Roger. Named Gold Roger, who was hung at the gallows, and then he said, you know, my treasure is yours for the taking, but you'll have to find it, that sort of thing. So now pirates from all over the world are going to try to find it, and Luffy's going to be one of these pirates. We then cut to a saloon where there's some pirates who are docked on that island for a little bit, are staying. And they're led by the character who I'm guessing is going to be, I've heard anyway, like a long-running major character in the series named Shanks, who's apparently like a really great pirate. And Luffy meets him there, and Luffy actually accidentally eats what's known as the gum-gum fruit, simply because he's hungry, you know, no other reason that he didn't even know what it was. And they basically chastise Luffy at first because he can't swim, you know. What kind of a pirate can't swim, you know? Like, I can swim a little bit myself, but what kind of a pirate can't even swim? And he's saying, you know, I won't even fall overboard then, so I won't have to worry about it. But that's not something you really want to say. You kind of want to swim if you're going to be a fucking pirate, you know. So, yes. So, Luffy then eats the gum-gum fruit, which basically turns his body into, like, rubber, so he can do lots of different things with that. which obviously would have its advantages, but apparently that means that he'll never be able to swim. So that kind of crushes his dream right there of becoming the world's greatest pirate. Okay. So that's a pretty interesting setup. Then of course these bandits come in, led by a guy who I can't remember his name was, but he's basically just a dick with eyes, quite honestly. Okay. And he basically orders them to give him and his men some alcohol, but they're all out. And then Shanks has one bottle left and he hands it to this guy. And this guy proves just how much of a douche that he really is by breaking it on the fucking ground, okay? Claiming, that's not nearly enough for me and all my men, which kind of makes sense, but he's still a douche. And then Shanks and his men end up getting their asses kicked by this guy and this douche and his men. And then Shanks is chastised by Luffy, and he believes in order to have honor, you have to stand up for yourself and fight back, or else you just lost all of your honor. Which that can be debatable in certain situations, I think. But anyway, though. So, I'm really starting to hurt already. And then. But anyway, so then we cut to when Shanks and his crew is gone, at least for a little bit, and Luffy seems like he's sulking a little bit, although when he's asked if he misses them, he denies it, saying, he basically lost all respect for Shanks. But then the bandits come back and start beating the shit out of Luffy in the street. And they can't really get far because his body's made of rubber, so his body kind of absorbs all of their fucking attacks. But the simple fact is that they're doing it. Then Shanks comes in, his men comes back, and they do actually fight them to help out Luffy because they're helping out someone else. They're helping out, I guess, what Shanks considers to be a good friend of his, even though Luffy kind of chastised him before. But they do end up fighting the bandits and then chasing them off. And soon after that, after Luffy makes up with Shanks and his crew, they end up leaving, and apparently they're never coming back to that island again. So at the end of the chapter, we cut ahead. Shit. At the end of the chapter, we cut ahead into the future when Luffy, I'm assuming, is of age. I'm not sure if he's actually 18. Well, I'm pretty sure of it. No, I'm not sure if of age in Japan is 16 or 18, but I'm pretty sure he's of age, or at least damn close to it. And he's basically setting out, all on his own, I'm pretty sure, although I know he'll get a pretty big crew later on, but I'm pretty sure at the beginning he's setting out on his own, on a ship, to become the world's greatest pirate. I don't remember if he actually set out at the end of the chapter. I don't think he did, but if not, then he's about to, definitely. And that pretty much ends this chapter. It was a pretty good start to the series. I thought that the pacing was, I thought it was very well paced, actually. The whole childhood with Shanks and whatnot worked out really well. And since it was the first chapter before it was actually serialized, it was an extra long chapter, obviously, which means that it had a lot more time to put a lot of stuff in there, definitely. The only bit of pacing I thought wasn't quite that good was the end, where Luffy's all grown up now and whatnot. I thought that could have been paced better by adding more pages and panels. But other than that, my only major complaint was the art in this chapter. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Stay tuned for my chapter 2 review and other videos from me in the future. Yes, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. You guys, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.